Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. David Nair on air, all the way from down under Brisbane, Australia. I welcome you from whichever part of the globe you're in to attend this particular session, which is conducted mainly on a topic that is affecting the world drastically in the last few years, particularly subsequent to the COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic is titled Sleep and its associated challenges and issues that we face with it. What I would like to do is actually invite the lady that's going to run through this program with some specifics, especially in health and wellness and its implications to it. Without much hesitation, I'm going to invite Dr. Alka Chadha all the way from Mumbai, India. Welcome aboard, Alka.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Thank you, David. Thank you, David, so much. I'm privileged to be here with you today.
How have you been? How was your weekend? Still partying as usual?
No, I'm not a party person at all. My husband has changed me into a home person.
Oh, right,
He
right.
hates, he hates going for parties. So I
Oh,
have
come
been good.
on.
And how have you been? Did you sleep well last night, David?
Oh, yes, I did. I know we're going to talk on sleep and you're honing in on straight away. I'm going to twist the question around a bit. Alka, did you have a good sleep last night?
Yes, sleep is something I really look forward to in my day's program. And if you ask me a question like, what is the happiest part of your day? It is the time that when I'm touching the pillow and I'm falling asleep, when I'm getting ready and when I'm anticipating sleep, that is the happiest part of my day. And
Right.
that anticipation gives me a dopamine high, but that dopamine is not going to spoil my sleep. It makes me sleep. It makes me go into a sweet, sweet slumber. So I love sleeping and I love the idea of sleeping. And today I'm going to talk about something about sleep to change our views on speech, on sleep.
Fabulous, fabulous. My point is for some of the audience who have just joined in, as soon as Dr. Alka talks about dopamine, don't be frightened. There was a broadcast done a couple of weeks ago on this thing called the dose chemicals that we carry within our cells. So if you want to know more about that, I would refer you to enter into my YouTube channel and you'll find that interview that I did with Dr. Alka on dose hormones. Okay? Continue, please. Dr. Alka, now, do you want to share your perspective of sleep and how do you go about through this whole process? We're going to deep dive into it shortly.
Yes, I love talking about sleep because I love sleep and I love sleeping. And sleeping brings me beautiful memories of my childhood. My father used to tell us stories and he used to sing so many lullabies. And a lullaby is a beautiful, slow song with the soft, calming music to the ears of the baby. And when you rock the baby and when you sing the song, the baby just falls asleep. And those are the memories that I have in my heart, in my soul today. I'll just sing one line for you. Even if you don't understand the meaning, you will enjoy the song. It's about rocking a girl child to a swing where the breeze is coming and caressing her body, and the mother is asking the baby to slowly, slowly go into sleep. It goes like this. नन्ही कली सोने चली हवा धीरे आना नींद भरे पंख लिए झूला झूला जाना. These are the soft words of my mother's voice.
Wow. I'm going to nominate you for the Oscar. God help me. That's great. Right.
So many lullabies, David, which are ringing in my ears. And, I'm getting goosebumps when I sing this. I heard this when I was a baby and I sang this for my children. And these lullabies play a very big role today in putting a child to sleep. And there are so
Yeah.
many apps available today for putting a baby to sleep. But I feel the lap is the biggest app. You don't have to have any other app other than the lab. Today, I
Hmm.
see the young mothers, playing some kinds of apps and some music into the ears of the baby. But there's nothing as calming, nothing as soothing, nothing as beautiful as the mother's voice, I would say. So that is
You
my perspective about sleep.
Right. You sharing about that reminds me about when we had our young daughter Prashana, and she wouldn't go to sleep. And what we had to do was very simple: put her on the chest, either Laurie or I, and then play the music of Richard Clayderman, and she would just doze off within seconds. Now she can't even go to sleep without Richard Clayderman in her bedside playing the music. That's the stage you've got to. All right, now let's move deep dive into this. Share your perspective. Why is sleep so important, in your opinion?
Very beautiful question, David. And if you look at life throughout the day, we are doing so many things. We are driving to work, we are working with heavy machines, we are working with computer, we're taking decisions, we're taking important decisions in our life. I read a quote by Jeff Bezos, and he said that I'm not going to ever sacrifice on my sleep. And he said, I have got a ritual, my morning ritual. I spend with my family before 10 a.m. and only after 10 a.m. do I start doing my work. And the reason he said that he doesn't want to sacrifice with sleep is he said, I'm running $1 trillion industry and I would not like to make a mistake in my decision. I have to take three or four or maybe two or three decisions in a day. And I would not like to make a mistake just because I'm tired or I'm grouchy. And if you see Mark Zuckerberg, if you see Elon Musk, if you see all of these two people especially have got less than 6 hours of sleep because Elon says that he's a night bird and he works till 3 a.m. and then he goes to sleep at 9 a.m. But if you see Opera and if you see the older people, if you see the Bill Gates, they don't want to sacrifice on their sleep. They sleep for 7 hours. And I want to tell you one thing about Albert Einstein. He
Hmm,
understood that sleep is very, very important, and he would sleep for 10 hours in a day. He said, I don't care, but I know that something beautiful is happening in my brain, in my body, in my soul. So he would not sacrifice on his 10 hours of sleep. So anybody can sleep for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, but the idea is that one should be feeling fresh when we get up in the morning. One should be feeling rejuvenated, ready to do the work, and ready to go and have that energy and that enthusiasm to start working early in the morning. That is the idea of having a good night's sleep.
right, right. Now, many don't realize the psychological implications, when you do not have sleep, to memory and to metabolism. Okay, we will deep dive on that further down the scale. But one of the other areas that I want to address here very early is you spoke about quality and quantity of sleep. Okay, now let's get into the duration and the efficiency. If you had some disturbances, what would you do? Some of the challenges that happened following COVID, as an example, people intensively increase the number of challenges that they have with work and family pressures. Now, will that impact sleep? And if so, what are the repercussions?
Absolutely, David. The pandemic has had really a big impact on our lives, and there's not a single family in this world who has not been impacted or traumatized in some way or the other. Some have lost their jobs, some have lost people in their lives, their loved ones, and the financial crisis which has come along with COVID. So the point is, everybody is worried and everybody is frightened and scared as to what's going to happen, how to make ends meet. So there's definitely a reason for worry, and this worry is going to come in the way of our sleep. And as far as the duration is concerned, when the experts say 6 to 7 hours of sleep, but the point I'm trying to make is we should not be fixated on the number of hours. It's
Hmm,
okay. Somebody can sleep for 7 hours or 6 hours and feel fresh in the morning. It's all right. But it has been shown that if your sleep, the quality of sleep is also equally important. If we are not having a good quality sleep, that means if we are getting up again and again in the middle of the night, if we don't have our deep sleep cycles, that is going to affect our health. So quality means supposing we are getting up for passing urine, that happens in diabetic patients, or that happens in elderly patients with prostate problems, or we are getting up because of worries, because we are choked, because we are worrying and thinking a lot, overthinking. It could be millions of reasons, why we are getting up in the middle of the night. But most important thing that I want to talk about duration is that don't fix it. Sometimes people are sleeping for 2 to 3 hours in the day, especially in India. Then they can't sleep in the night. So we can't fix that time at night. So having short naps in the daytime is all right, but not having big naps in the daytime and then complaining that I'm not able to fall asleep. These are some of the reasons I'm just highlighting why people are not able to fall asleep.
Okay. In emotional aspects, you're smiling. What are the behavior patterns when someone has limited sleep? I'm
So,
going to throw it at
David,
you.
I want you to answer this question. Can you imitate a person who has been not sleeping well? Like, I remember in school when we went to school and we told good morning to our teacher. And when we said, good morning, teacher, so she said, good morning. Or we had a friend who didn't sleep very well in the night. So tell me, can you imitate somebody in your life who
Oh my
doesn't
God, when I get
basically?
up, if I'm not enough sleep, I go, what are you doing to me? Good morning? Who said it's a good morning? So that's an immediate reaction. Okay. Now, what happens emotionally is your mind is still in that alpha beta theta state. So you have not come out of it to condition yourself to the environment. So therefore, your sleep moods impact that, and therefore you're thrown it. You're gone for a toss. Now, psychologically, it impacts a person. Let me just address some of these areas because we spoke about the emotional aspects. Psychologically, it impacts some people. Anger
Yes.
wise and confusion wise, it doses them up enormously. If you have lack of sleep, most of your day is gone for a toss
Yeah.
because your mood swings are there. And if your mood swings are there, it doesn't matter how much of meditation you've done, how much of daily rituals you've done, it goes for a toss completely unless you understand that you have to control this. And sleep is one of the add ons to make it stabilized. And if we don't have that, we go for a toss. The other thing that's extremely important to understand now, as I said, subsequent to COVID, is the depression and the anxiety levels have gone for a toss to such an extent that other side effects are coming out. Now, you as a doctor, if you can elaborate on some of those areas, and more importantly, if you can come in and touch on the aspect of your primitive brain, because when you're in this lack of sleep state, 60% of it goes to this primitive brain, which means your frontal cortex is gone for a toss. Can you just bring all of that together? Thank you.
So, if you look at a person who has slept well, even if you imagine your own self, when we have slept well, we have got up with a fresh mind and we are ready to welcome the beautiful day and make the day the best day in our life. And that kind of feeling when we get, we are able to relate well with the people in our lives. We don't bite them, and we are not rude to them. We are nice to them. We feel good within ourselves, and we feel
Yeah.
good for other people who are around us. We feel harmonious within ourselves. Now,
Mhm.
also when we start doing our work, we are more efficient, we are more productive, our decision making is better. And when we start our day and when we meet people, in the previous night we have already done the winding down activities, we have written down
Yeah.
the works for the next day, we are ready for the rituals the next day, we have done our gratitude writings, expressing all of that. And when we get up in the morning, we are full of energy, we are so full of enthusiasm, and then we start doing our work. Don't you think that productivity will be better anytime? The
Mm.
productivity is definitely better, our goal setting is better, our goal achieving is better, we'll waste less time, our relationships are better. And what happens actually is we have a prefrontal cortex here, which I always talk about. This is the most important part of our brain. This is a new brain.
Right.
This has developed recently, and it's an execution part of the brain, it's a
Hmm.
decision making, it's the logical part of the brain, and also it is very happy brain, it's a happy part of the brain. And if we are not sleeping well, actually this part of the brain controls the primitive brain, the amygdala, which is sitting behind. Now when we are not sleeping well, the control of the prefrontal cortex over the amygdala is lost. Now,
Mm.
when that thing is lost, you want to snap, you want to be rude, and you can do anything with yourself, whatever you're feeling grouchy and all of that. So, I'm saying that the negativity starts building up when we have not slept well. So, if we can control our sleep and we can have enough hours of sleep so that we feel fresh in the morning, we can be so positive, a positive mindset. That's what I wanted
Right.
to say.
The reference, this is for some of the audience outside of mental resilience mastery that we are addressing. The concept that Alka has touched on in relation to daily rituals and the wind down and wind up time, Ladies and gentlemen, there are some videos on that in our channel. You're welcome to have a look at that. These are the rituals that we have as a community called Mental Resilience Mastery, created, and it's cascaded down to the group within us to practice it on a regular basis so we can have this balance on this side of the scale, which is what we're talking about now, sleep. Thank you so much on that, Alka. Now, let me deep dive into another aspect, which is the stages of sleep. I'd like you to sort of address that as we go further down.
Yeah. So it's very nice when you ask this question because, supposing we are dozing off, we just start dozing off. We have a pen in our hand, the pen falls off. We have a phone in our hand, the phone falls off. We're reading a book, the book falls off. That is the first stage of sleep. When we are just getting into sleep, that is called the stage one of non REM sleep. Then
Yes.
after that, we go into a slightly deeper sleep. That is the non-REM part of second stage of sleep. In that also, we are going slightly deeper, but not very deep. We can be woken up very easily. After that, we go to the deeper part of NREM sleep, the non-REM sleep, the third stage. That is deep sleep, and even then, deeper than that is we go to REM sleep. That is a rapid eye movement sleep.
Hmm.
When I talk about rapid eye movement sleep and the deep sleep is, you can imagine somebody in your life whom you cannot wake up that person no matter what happens. If there's a fire also, if there's a volcano also, that person is not going to get up. That
Waking
person is
up.
in such deep sleep. And I know one person in my life who goes into such deep sleep, and no matter what happens, it's very difficult to wake up that person. And I envy such people, who have such deep sleep. So we have 4 to 5 cycles during the night, each cycle lasting for about 100 minutes. So
Hmm.
25, 25, 25, 75% is non-REM sleep. And the last is the REM sleep is 25%. So,
Right.
25 minutes and then 25 minutes and 25 minutes. So we have about 1 to 2 hours of sleep, depending on the hours of sleep that we are having. So the
Right.
deep sleep is what is most important. Yes.
Now, to deep dive into deep sleep, are there some methods in which you can get into deep sleep? Because that's the thing that actually boosts you up when you come back in the morning. So, is there any methods in which we can deep dive into that?
So first and foremost, one has to be, really tired when you go back, when you go to sleep. There has to
Mm.
be some physical activity during the day so that you
Right.
fall asleep and you get into deep sleep. That
Hmm.
tiredness is important. The other thing that I would say is not to eat a very heavy meal at night, not to
Hmm.
have too much of water at night, as I've already discussed that in the beginning. And when we are sleeping, we do some binding down activities. So making the place dark and making the place little quiet, putting some romantic music, putting a calm, soothing, relaxing music, using some essential oils, all of these things are going to help us to go into deep sleep. Avoiding an argument with the person next to you is one of the things which I always tell everybody. You may be
Yeah.
wanting to snap at someone, something has happened during the day, but after 6 p.m., friends, if we can avoid being bitter or angry or resentful with whomever it may be, just letting go of that feeling helps us to sleep better. If we are thinking about how I'm going to make him react and if I'm going to react about all of those things, what has happened in my day, then I'm not going to get into deep sleep. Then all that will be going in my brain throughout the night. Because the brain
Yes.
doesn't sleep, the brain is awake.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now, while we're addressing this issue of disruptive activities, I've had a survey put out and got some checklist of things. I'm going to go through them. I might read them a statement, but I'd like your opinion on them.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we got here is, as an example, working until bedtime. Is that good or bad?
No.
Okay.
1 hour before sleeping, we should shut our gadgets, unplug all our gadgets, close our screens because the blue light interferes with our sleep and with our eyes. So working till the last time on not a good idea.
Now, let me elaborate further on that. Working 1 hour, you said. Now, the blue screen, when do you have to make sure you've got freeze from the blue screen? 1 hour is enough, or should you have
1 hour.
more?
1 hour. They
1 hour
recommend
is
1 hour.
enough?
Yeah,
Right.
1 hour.
Good. Now, doing other activities. Many do this in the bedroom. I want to make sure this is elaborated. Work, eating, watching TV, other activities. What is good and bad? I only know of two activities that you can do in the bedroom. One is sleep, and the other is intimacy. That's why I call it the SI room. Okay,
Yeah.
that's my new label for the bedroom, the SI room. Now, many other people have all these other things in there. What's your opinion on that?
So you can read a book in the room.
Ah,
Two of you can read different books in the room. He or she can be doing his own stuff. You can be doing your own stuff, but no screen time in the bedroom. There should be no
right,
TV in the bedroom if you really want to have a good night's sleep. So you're
right.
absolutely right when you say that the bed is meant only for sleeping and for intimacy. We have used a very beautiful word. I was going to use a nasty word, but I'm not going to do it on this.
This
So
is censored. I've got kids on the show
working,
also. Okay.
you can be loving, you can create
I know.
loving feelings, instead of doing your work and not looking at him, and making some good conversations at night with your spouse is a very good idea. That 1 hour that we keep before sleeping, we can have a good relationship with our spouse. We can improve our relationship with our spouse. What
Excellent.
else?
Now, I'm going to deep dive, continue these questions. I hope you don't mind. Staying in bed and worrying about unable to sleep.
Yes, big problem.
What do we
It
do?
goes like a loop, inside our
Yeah.
brain. The neurons which we have now, we are hardwired for negativity.
Mm.
And when we think about a negative thought, it goes like a loop in our brain. And
Yes.
that and if we don't take charge of that, it makes a trench, it makes a circuit, it makes a pathway, and very
Right.
difficult to remove it from the brain. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be aware, and we have to be mindful that no, I'm not going this way. Instead of that, convert it into a positive affirmation, and convert it into an enabling, into an empowering thought. That is very
Mm.
important.
What I've suggested to some of my clients is when they say that, because I shared with you, I had some clients in coaching who had some challenges with sleep and have gone and seen doctors and they've given them machines and stuff like that. Now, what they've suggested and they've practiced on this is when they can't sleep and they're worried about this thing going through their mind, get up, go into another room. Number one, either listen to music or read a book, as you suggested. Another thing that I do is to make them deep dive into their worry, which means take a pad, sit down then and there, and write down what is
Correct.
your worry. Tut, 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 tut. Vomit it out on the sheet of paper. Don't look for solutions, just vomit it out, and then relax with some music and see how it goes. Tomorrow, the day after, you can deep dive into those questions. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, this is a very good idea. I remember when I was in my second MBBS, I used to have some nervous spells before my exam, and I would not be able to sleep. And my dad used to tell me, okay, write down what is the worst thing that can happen with this exam. You're going to
Yeah.
fail. I don't mind. You've done your best. You're going to fail. It doesn't matter. Now go to sleep. And he used to play some nice music for me. We have some mantras and shlokas for me. And then I
Mm.
used to fall asleep. The other thing he would suggest was to make me have a warm water bath. And that was also working very well. When you change your activity from that worry state, when you move your body in a direction, another way, you can
Mm.
change your thoughts. So walking, moving your body, and also having a bath and drinking a hot cup of milk, a small cup of milk, puts you to sleep faster. These are some of
Okay.
the things which we can do. We can try doing all of these things. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, another thing is, when you are in a romantic environment and you go to a restaurant, they have the ambience and beautiful music and good sound and good food. Now, do you think your bedroom also should be made that way?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So my bedroom used to be a place of office. I used to keep my files and my books and my everything all over the place. So when my daughter-in-laws came to my house, they said, "Mom, what is this?" So I said, "This is my office." So she said, "No, this is not your office. This is a bedroom." So she was the one who made me understand. And then I started clearing my things from the bed and putting it on my table. And I have a big, huge table because I keep writing, I keep reading, I keep doing my Zoom meetings. But let me tell you one thing. My husband has a habit of keeping slow music in the room all the time. He always,
Mm.
whenever I enter the bedroom, there'll be very beautiful, soothing music playing in the room. And that is very beautiful because it creates the ambience. And we should have warm yellow lights, not just
Yes.
bright lights. When we have those bright lights and then we suddenly want to put them off and go to sleep, it doesn't work like that. So when we
Exactly.
have warm, dark lights, and the place is dark, you feel like sleeping. and that is
Right.
called the winding down. When we,
Ah,
we can't suddenly go from bright light to darkness. That's what I wanted to share. Yeah.
excellent. Now, also another thing that was discussed was exercise. Do you have a period before you can get to sleep that you should stop your exercising? What is it?
Yeah. So at least before going to bed, we should not be doing exercise. It should be done at least 2 to 3 hours before. I remember when I
Hmm.
had joined the gym, it was up to 10 p.m. The gym was up to 10 p.m. and I used to be busy in my clinic till 8 o'clock. And I used to run to the gym at 8 o'clock and then come back at 9 o'clock, have my dinner, and then go to sleep. That is not the way to do it. The best thing is to finish the exercise before 6 p.m., then have an early dinner, and then it will be easy for us to sleep. Because when we go to sleep, there should be no food left in our stomach. The food
Right.
should have been digested and assimilated by the time we go to bed. If we go
Okay.
to sleep with a full stomach, it's not going to be a good idea, because then we are going to have a disturbed sleep.
Right. The time gap, food
1 hour,
intake.
1 hour they say, but I think it should be at least 2 to 3 hours. And
Okay.
I, and some I used to sleep immediately after that. So that is very, very bad. Sleeping immediately after exercise is not a good idea.
So therefore, you're talking about a couple of hours exercise pre-sleep,
Yes,
food intake 2 hours, 3 hours pre-sleep.
3 hours.
Right. Good.
Yes.
So guys, remember that they're simple cardinal rules. They're not hard to follow. These are habit shifts we want people to look at. Another thing, with people like me, that we do this midnight snack and the midnight conversations are across the globe, and then all of a sudden you go and say, "Oh, I want to have that little bit of a cheese and biscuits and some warm cup of tea." What do you think about midnight snacks?
Very bad idea.
Oh no!
So the liver is functioning, it's resting in the middle of the night. And
Right,
if we are going to, so the best thing is to have our meals before 7 p.m. If we can
right.
finish eating our meal before 7 p.m., then that's the best thing. And then early morning, you feel hungry and you feel good about having something in the morning. So the liver is going to be very, very disturbed if when we are having a mid-meal snack. And it seems that at night, whatever sugars we are taking, it's getting, the carbohydrates we are taking, it's getting stored in the liver. Not a good
Hmm.
idea, and that helps to store fat, and the sugars get converted into fat, and ultimately it increases our weight. So if we are fighting with weight, okay, one more thing, when we are having lack of sleep, we are always getting more weight. You know the reason
Right.
for that? The reason is
No.
that when we eat food, there is a hormone called leptin, which is being secreted by our body, which
Okay.
says that you have eaten enough food. Now you can stop eating food. The satisfaction index is reached. So now we can stop eating food. But lack of sleep prevents the secretion of leptin, number one. And even if it is secreted, it is very, very insensitive. Like we have
Hmm.
insulin sensitivity becomes less. Similarly, leptin sensitivity becomes less. So there's no message to the brain to stop eating. So we eat much more. And when we sleep well, David, our metabolism is in good condition. It's
Right.
like we can burn up food faster. But when we are
Uh-huh.
not sleeping well, the metabolism slows down. So these are the two reasons why we put on weight. And this is a very big health hazard. People don't realize it. People keep on putting on weight, keeping on putting on weight, and then we ask them, "You're eating right? Are you eating right? Are you eating right? Are you exercising?" And then we come to the conclusion that they're not sleeping well at all. They're
Hmm.
sleeping 4 to 5, and it's the chronic people who are deprived of sleep. They keep putting on a lot of weight.
Right. Right. Um, Naps. We've not touched on that. Naps. When do you need to take naps, and how long do we take naps? Some people take naps after dinner, and then they try to go to sleep at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And some don't even do that. So your thoughts on naps?
So in my clinic, I have a lot of elderly and I have a lot of youngsters coming. The 40 to 50 women at home, they're watching their soap operas at night, and then they say, "I don't get sleep, I'm having sleepless nights and I'm having insomnia." But how are you going to get sleep is the question. If you're going to be watching a soap opera which is so full of bitchiness and excitement and all of that, and then I ask them one question, that do you sleep in the afternoon? So she says, "Yeah, a little bit." How much is little bit? So she says, "About 1.5 to 2 hours." So you're sleeping So if you're going to sleep for that much of time in the afternoon, you're going to be suffering from insomnia 100%. So when we're not supposed to believe people when they say that they're suffering from insomnia. So what I would say is that 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes naps during the day are called power naps, and they help us to restore, rebuild, and rejuvenate. When we can just, like David, I know he has 3 to 4 power naps during the day, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and
Hmm.
that makes him rejuvenated for the rest of the day. So night sleep can be little reduced when we are having power naps during the day, and we can get up fresh early in the morning. But the trick is to be able to sleep when you really want to sleep.
Right, right, right. Good. Now let me progress from that area into something slightly different. What are some of the problems that arise due to lack of sleep? Before I deep dive into another segment.
So we have seen anxiety, we have seen depression, we have already talked about emotional imbalance.
Yes.
The testicle size of the boys and the youngsters who are not sleeping well becomes
Mm.
smaller in size. So the testosterone levels and the reproductive life is becoming bad. And
Right.
also it happens in the females also. It is
Mm-hmm.
difficult for them to, the infertility starts setting in very much early in life when they are burning out and when they are doing all of these things. The people who are chronically deprived of sleep are more prone to getting diabetes, they are more prone to getting heart disease, and they are more prone to getting hypertension and stroke. This is, I'm talking about chronically deprived people. They don't even realize. So, David, the thing is, we don't think of our sleep. We are so work oriented. We're only into work, work, work. And we don't think about this beautiful gift that God has given us, sleep, which we can cherish and we can enjoy and we can improve the quality of our life. What else does it do when we are not sleeping well? The plaques, when we sleep well now, we have a lot of plaques, the toxic substances which are being created and which are being deposited in our brain. During deep sleep, these plaques are cleared by the antioxidants in our blood. And if you're not sleeping well, these plaques keep on getting accumulated, and we are more prone to dementia and to Alzheimer's.
Right.
Also, they say our life, the aging process is reduced when we are sleeping well. So, friends, I would say sleep well, look young, prolong your age, and go for a longer life and a happier life.
Right. Very quickly, there is a couple of people who texted earlier and asked me the question on plaque, which is what you've just raised. That's very good. Um, to the audience, plaque basically is when you get up in the morning, if you run your tongue behind your teeth, you find it very slippery. Okay. Now, that is plaque. That's a buildup just overnight. Imagine if you don't have sleep, the regular dosage of sleep, this plaque is built in your whole system internally. Hence, this is what Alka is talking about. The causes of this ailments. Now, two things that you've not touched on yet, Alka, is hypertension and your immunity build
Yes.
with lack of sleep. Can you just address that aspect? Because I think
Yeah.
that puts the whole picture together.
Yeah, so lack of sleep is destroying our natural killer cells, and the natural killer cells are the cells which destroy the bacteria and the germs and the viruses when they attack us. So, when our immune system is hit, our immunity comes down and we are more prone to infections.
Right,
So, we get more commonly flus and other kinds of infections in our body, and that is again a big no no. So, why not sleep well so that we build up our immunity? So we
right,
talked about respiratory health, we talked about cardiovascular health, we talked about emotional health, and we talked about depression, anxiety, and this one is the last one.
right. Thank you so much for that. Now, let me sort of deep dive into another area. Chronic, you've covered. What are the benefits? Haha, now we get into this. What are some of the benefits of good sleep?
So, first and foremost, you feel good, you feel happy, you make good decisions, your behavior is good. You are in charge of what you're doing because your PFC is very strong. You don't give into negative things easily. You're not sarcastic. So there are so many times in my life I want to be sarcastic to somebody, but I say, no, I'm not going to be. So there is a lot of restraint on my words, on my behavior. So we have better behavior, we have better learning. And in children, if you see, when they sleep well, their attention is better, their focus is better, their learning is
Mm.
better. And after talking about this learning, and we talk about the focus, we talk about their assimilation and their, how they can embed this knowledge within themselves.
Right.
It's equally true of adults, it's equally true of children. Have I missed out something?
No, no, you
Learning.
have not. You have not. No, you have not. Now, the interesting thing is, when you spoke of this, the willpower and the productivity of the person is also hugely impacted. Okay. Now,
Absolutely.
do you want to address that from? Yeah, go on. You want to address that aspect of it, please?
Yeah. So if you are slept well and you're feeling good, automatically you go to do your work, you're focused, your attention is on your work, on your goal, what you want to do. You don't get distracted easily by people. So, you're in a high state of mind. You're in a happier state of mind. You're in a grateful state of mind. So when I'm saying this, I'm remembering some things that if someone is in a high state of mind and somebody else is criticizing me in that high state of mind, I'm not bothered. I don't get affected by it. I'm okay because I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I don't get disturbed at all. I don't get distracted by what other people are saying. So that is the
Mm.
advantage, that you feel so good and so strong and so confident about yourself, and you do your work just like that, and your decision making is better, your behavior is better, your relationships are better. I can go on and on and on. Your friendships are better, and so many more things happen in your life.
Very much so. As we were talking, in fact, after we did our initial dry run, I just went through and did some reference. And one of the things that stood out was my high school English. And I remember reading Shakespeare. And for some reason, this thing about sleep came out. So I went back and referred to that. And this is what Shakespeare has to say. Because most people seem to undervalue sleep. And they undervalue it to such an extent that they're trading it away for other things. Okay? Whether it's watching Netflix or whatever. That's their choice. But the thing that Shakespeare put it is sleep. It's nature's soft nurse.
Yes,
It's a
absolutely.
self healer. Many don't realize how much of a self healer it is. And if you understand this, and then those MRM guys here, you understand the synchronity we talk about, and put all of this together, you will then understand if you have that limited amount of sleep that we talk about, and then we have the power naps during the day, you can be functioning effectively and still enjoy all of the things in life and live up to 100 years. I've got another 8 to 10 years to get to that.
There was a play by Julius Caesar, and
Yes,
in that
I
Julius
remember it.
Caesar, he says, "Enjoy honeyed heavy dew of slumber." So, in Shakespeare's times, and in also after that, there was another dramatist. He says, "Sleep is the golden chain which ties the health and our bodies together." So, during those years, the sleep was considered as very, very precious commodity. After 400 years after that, when Thomas Edison was there, Thomas Edison was a workaholic, and he thought that, he was to say that sleep is a criminal waste of time. And later on, the Margaret Thatcher also, she said that it's a waste of time. But I would say that today, after so much of research has been done, I would say that the sleep is the sweetest thing in our life. It's the most beautiful thing in our life, and it makes our life even so beautiful and even so wonderful. It's just that we have to change our views towards we sleep and give it that importance, and cherish it, and make it a part of our life. Very, very
and and
important.
and and you see, those that are in this MRM, they should also understand now they're already in a routine, so it is not very hard to plug this routine into that and follow this as a
Yes.
routine, and then plug in your naps into that as a routine. So basically, you're working effectively through the day and night, allowing your body to rest. And then when you get up, you're still most effective to continue working the way you want to work. Now, I was just looking at the chat channel. There are some questions that some of the people are asking. We
Okay.
have already addressed that at the start, and obviously, some of these people are coming late. So, please, what we will do is we will not answer those questions. We've got a lot of other things to cover. But
Okay.
those that have missed it, we have this script transcribed by another MRM person, and we will have it uploaded in the
Wow.
MRM guides for people to just have a look at. So don't be perturbed if your questions are not answered. We're caring for you to that extent, very honestly. Now, that says you need to be punctual, indirect way of saying that. What are some of the bedtime routines, Alka? What are some of the bedtime routines?
So winding down is routine at night when we really want to go to sleep. So as we have already talked about it, when we just stop working 1 hour before going to sleep, we unplug our gadgets, our laptops, our telephones, our screen time. We can take a book, or we can be in our bedroom talking nice things. And the main thing is to write down what we want to do for the next day. That's a very
Yes,
great routine. And thinking about the whole day, how have I expressed my gratitude to the people in my life? Have I been grateful? And what has been my day like? So what kind of mistakes I would have made, which I cannot repeat them tomorrow. And some of these things, make us think and deep dive go within us, and slowly, slowly, slowly we start falling asleep.
hmm,
I think even reading and even listening to some kind of shlokas, mantras, whatever you like, whatever is okay with you, will help you. And I think gratitude is one thing which helps me become positive instantaneously. No matter
right,
how my day was, yeah, that's what I
right.
wanted to say.
So,
Winding
so
down, yeah.
basically, what we're trying to do is not just wind down from work, so to speak, but wind down our muscles from head to toe in such a way that we are going to a relaxed state. Therefore, for that relaxed state of muscles, we need to also now try to look at our breathing as we go into sleep, and at the same time, look at making sure we are focused, we are winding down based on whether we want to do tomorrow's activity or whether we're going to do some writing on journals, whatever. Apart from that, no screen time except SI, which is sleep and intimacy. That's all the bedroom is for. Nothing else.
So, if someone is finding difficulty in sleeping, we have some meditations, and we also have something known as Shavasana. Shavasana is to sleep like a corpse. So, when we give
Yes,
instructions to our body that relaxing each and every part, what David was just mentioning, we say that, okay, let my legs relax from the hip to the toes, let my shoulders to the fingers relax, let my back relax, let my vertebral column relax. So, when we give attention to each and every part of our body to relax, the whole body starts relaxing, and you automatically feel the relaxation and the coolness in your body, and slowly you can fall asleep. There are some things available, but I would not advise to listen to those cassettes. The better thing is to feel inside yourself and give relaxation instructions to your body with your own self in your
right,
mind, and it
right.
helps a lot. Yeah.
Right. Like earlier when we talked about the person who's having worries and can't sleep, one of
Yes.
the things also that I had found a client of mine was recommended to do was to create what he called a sleep journal. And in the sleep journal, he measured, not measured, sorry, he put down his mood swings and what used to happen, how long it used to take place, and what was the quality of his sleep the night before. He starts writing those down, and what are some of the disturbing things. Now, you can start that like a gratitude journal, you can start a sleep journal, and that can assist you monitor if you are disturbed during the night over a period of time reduce your disturbance, which means the gap is reduced over time, and that enhances a person's quality of sleep. That's just from some work I did on the sideline.
Absolutely wonderful.
Deep diving into other areas. What are some of the things I would like to touch on? Let me look at it. Quick 1 hour before I'm reading some of it. Alcohol.
Yes.
We missed
Oh,
it.
alcohol puts you to sleep quickly, but you have a very disturbed sleep after that. Alcohol
Right.
is a stimulator, yeah. When you have alcohol, all the blood goes to the stomach. You feel very sleepy, so you fall asleep quickly, and later on you have a very disturbed sleep. So at least 2 to 3 hours before sleeping, no alcohol.
2 to 3 hours. Okay. All right, guys, remember that. Ladies also remember that. Those who like the bottle of wine. Now, do other activities. We talked about TV watching, no sleep, keeping down. Use screens. We spoke about that. Bedtime. I'm just screening through what else.
I need to
Because
talk about sleep apnea. There is a
ah
sleep.
yes, please. Yeah.
There's a sleep disorder which is called sleep apnea. So we all wake up in the middle of the night for fraction of seconds, but we don't remember it, and we go back to sleep. It may happen mostly in the NERM sleep. And there's a condition called sleep apnea in which we get up 50 to 60 times in the middle of the night, and it's for a fraction of second, but we don't come to know. But when we get up in the morning, we're not fresh, and we know
Ah,
that we have not had a good night's sleep. And this happens to people who are overweight and who are obese. So in these people, there is a part of the tongue, behind the tongue there is a part called uvula, and this kind of obstructs the respiratory tract. And because of that, there's a choking sensation, and the person gets up, and this leads to more weight gain. Already there is weight gain, and again there is lack of sleep, so it becomes a vicious cycle, and the people cannot sleep. So there are different methods which are available. First is to, of course, lose weight, to help this person to lose his weight. And the second is we have some machines which are available, BiPAP machine, which they apply on your nose and on your face, on your mouth, and that helps you to breathe better. And those apnea attacks, when the choking sensation is avoided. So sleep apnea is very, very common today, and it causes a disturbance in the sleep, and we should be looking at that seriously, especially for
right.
the overweight people. They're not
For the
aware of
oh,
it. They don't know it also. They're not aware of it. That's what
uh-huh.
I want to say. Yeah.
And the repercussions from it are drastic, aren't they?
What?
The repercussions
Yeah.
from sleep.
So again, these people are sleep deprived. So
Yes,
all the side effects of sleep deprived. If it's like 40 to 50 years of age, you can imagine the diabetes, the overweight, the BMI becomes higher, all the side effects what I told you, blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, everything they are more exposed to. They're more prone to getting all of this. And some of these people they go into anxiety and depression. Very sad. Then they're not aware of what is happening. They're not even understanding why this is happening. They're grouchy. They don't have good friendships. So we have to bring it to their notice that this is what you will be suffering from. So one of some of my obese patients, when I ask them, "Do you sleep well in the night?" and they say that, "Yeah, I don't sleep well in the night." They don't realize that they're not sleeping well in the night. They get up in the morning and they're very, very grouchy. But we have to bring it to their understanding that this is what is the problem and this can be solved. These are
right,
the takeaways.
right. Um, Now that you mentioned takeaways, let's put some action plans for some of the people
Yeah.
that are listening. Put some action and plans in place. So they have some means of doing a checklist or some means of
Yeah.
measuring, what they got to do. Your suggestion, please, Alka.
So I'll tell you. First thing is to get up in the morning at the same time and sleep at the same time. There is something known as circadian rhythm of the body. And if we can stick to that circadian rhythm of the body, it would be very nice. Now, there will be some students, some children, and some youngsters who may be having night duties, who may be having daytime, sleeping time. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the normal people who are sleeping in the night and working in the day. So, one is to have a schedule. So when we have a schedule, we know that this is what we're going to do. At this is the time we're going to get up. This is the time we're going to sleep. So the body is ready to sleep. The body understands. The brain understands. Now this person has done his work. Now it is 8 p.m. and now he's going to start going to sleep. So the body helps you. The mind and your body and your brain helps you to fall asleep. That is one thing. The other thing is, of course, the ambience, making
Yeah.
it not to fight with anybody, not to have an argument with anybody after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. So it helps us to change our personality, that
Yeah.
let go. I want to sleep well. So it depends, David, how much importance you're giving to your life and how much importance you're
Yes.
giving to your own sleep. Are you cherishing yourself? If we are getting into stupid arguments in the middle of the evening or the night, it's going to take us a whole night to sort it out. So, getting out of the bitterness or the resentment or the anger in the evening, telling myself that no, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to go to the negative part, and then becoming more positive. Then, of course, what you have already told, all these things, the takeaways, writing meditation, writing a gratitude journal, writing down the things for the next days, all these rituals that we can perform, having a warm water bath, having a hot cup of water or hot cup of milk, we can have some essential oils, help us to fall asleep, or meditations are the best. What else can we do? Anything else am I missing out? So scheduling
Um,
your sleep is very
yeah.
important.
Scheduling is very important. Yeah. What is the ideal time scheduling for? You see, the body works in 3 8-hour cycles. I'm correct me if I'm wrong. 3 8-hour cycles. So 8 3 is 24. Now, when we think we are sleeping, that's when the body is working at its maximum. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, if that's the case, the sleep is vital. It is not important, it is vital. So, therefore, when we understand that, and the critical time then is 10 to 6. Okay. So, from your perspective, which is an ideal time to sleep?
So I would say that 9 a.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. would be the ideal time to sleep so that you can
Hmm.
get up by 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And the early morning, for me, with my time between 5 and 7 a.m. is my time, which is I can do my maximum work. After the day starts, after the family gets up, after the chores have to be done, the actually my productivity becomes less. I'm more
Yes.
concentrating on the outside noise, and this a lot of things are happening in my life, so my productivity definitely becomes less. My focus is better between 5 and 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning. So I would say 9 to 10, but people can sleep 10 p.m. also is fine. But I want to get up early. If people are not interested in getting up early, then they can sleep by 10, by 11. But let us see that when you get up in the morning, you should be fresh. Because today
Mm.
youngsters, they want to sleep and work in the night. My son is working in the night. He feels that he's very peacefully working in the night. During the day, there's so many things disturbing him. So it's all right. Some people work like larks, some people work like owls. So some people have a owl personality. It's all right. But get up with a fresh mind, get up with energy, get up with
Right.
feeling good about yourself. That is most important.
Excellent. Fabulous. Any other elements that we should touch on?
So, so sleep should be given importance in our life. Should be given a lot of, uh, you know, we should change the views about sleep. Earlier, it used to be like sleep whenever you want to sleep. No, today it's changed. The whole concept of sleep has changed. And when all these people, Mark and Zuckerberg, or whether it is Oprah Winfrey and Bill Gates, they sleep for seven
Mm.
hours or more than 7 hours a day. They give a lot of importance to the sleep. So, from these leaders and from these people who are so high in their life, we have to understand one thing, that sleep is really important. If a person is 90 years of age, 30 years of his life he's sleeping. This is
Right.
nature's way. So, why is a
Mhm.
person sleeping for 30 years? There must be something important happening in the body. The
Mm.
body is rebuilding, restoring, it's repairing, it's rejuvenating. So, that time of rest is important, is required by the body, and we have to understand this. We can't keep functioning by burning and burning and burning ourselves. We burn, but we have to take rest. We work, but we have to take rest. Every working, and when we learn also, I'll tell you one thing, that if you really want to memorize something in the night, if we speak to ourselves that thing which we want to memorize, and we sleep with that in our mind, next morning again we revise it, it becomes a permanent thing in our mind. The brain is working in the night, the body is resting, the body is restoring, but the brain is working, and that helps us to have better learning, better memory. Our memory is 100% better when we are doing these things in the night and early in the morning.
It's interesting you mentioned that because within inverted commas, that accelerated learning is actually applied by the Chinese government for its education of culture slash every aspect basically, but more the culture to ensure that is passed on to the next generation. So they get kids to sleep and remember these gymnastic moves or the dance moves, and they come out and they perform in excellence. And that's powerful accelerated learning methodology whilst asleep.
Dancing is another way of falling asleep faster.
Yeah, I know you dance with. Uh,
Yes. So in the evening, you can have a dance class, or twice or thrice a week or whatever. Even if you have no class, you can dance with yourself. Go in the mirror and just ask yourself, are you ready to dance with me? If your partner is not ready, it doesn't matter. You have your partner in front of you, in the mirror, and dancing gives you a big high. It's so many hormones are coming in you, and looking at yourself, or even if you're dancing in a class, oxytocin is coming, endorphins are coming, and all of these beautiful hormones are coming. And after about 2 hours, these hormones are fading down, and you're tired, your muscles are tired, and they need rest. And this sleep helps you to take that rest, and next day morning you're up with new stamina, with new endurance, and with new muscle power, and with new energy.
It's interesting you say dancing. My father-in-law, Jim, is 93 years old and he dances 3 times a week with his wife. They go to the club and they have three different types of dances. They do the country and western, the waltz, and then the jazz. And so they mix that every week for the last, I don't know how many years it's been doing
So
it. That's
dancing is a big leveler. Yeah, it's a big leveler, It breaks all barriers. When
right.
you're dancing with somebody elderly or young or child or anybody, you just become like a child, when you're dancing. You
Mm.
forget about all your worries.
Yeah.
Everything is out of the window. And
Mm.
you are just vibrating at some kind of a level which is so beautiful. You just look at the opposite person, look into the eyes of the opposite person, depending on what dance you're doing, the romantic dance or waltz dance or whatever dance you're doing. Depending on that, your vibrations are coming up, and your energy is being exhausted, the muscles are being used. It's beautiful. Dancing takes you to a higher any other level, and your father-in-law, that is why he must be getting very good sleep in the night.
Exceptionally. I mean, he's amazing. He's on the top of the roof. He's a builder too, so he's on the top of the roof early morning. But guys, that is a key note. If you're having issues with sleep, these are some of the alternatives you can use. You don't have to go out to a dance hall to do it. You can actually. I know some members of MRM when they're in a stress and they call me. We talk about getting music and they're dancing in their room. Do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do that and see how it impacts your hormonal shift to allow you to calm down and then get to sleep. Fabulous. Alka, really appreciate your time and effort in putting this together. One quick word of takeaway for the group.
So schedule your sleep, give importance to sleep. Sleep is a non-negotiable biological necessity. It's your life support system and it's a nature's best gift to us. And I would say that let us enjoy this gift, let us cherish this gift, and let us change the quality of our life. Schedule your sleep and give equal and enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your life. If you have a good night's sleep, you're going to get up fresh and you will be able to enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment of your life. That's all I want to say, friends.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alka Chadha. Appreciate all the effort you're putting to help our team and truly appreciate it. And thank you. We will see you in the morning at 5:30.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you're doing for the MRM group, for all of us and the Fire to Via. And we are so, so, so grateful. On behalf of the whole team, I'm very, very grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you so much. Fabulous, guys. Thank you. Have a great night. Ciao for now.